Hi, everybody. It's the Eternal Sith.
Sound upset.
I am very upset, but
Ah,
we won't talk about it. We won't talk about it. How you doing, Jasmine?
I'm good. I'm tired. I'm
Don't
slightly
e-
upset
don't
because
tell me. Don't even talk to me about being tired. Do not talk to me about tired because this stream was not supposed to happen. We're gonna say this shit on live. This was not supposed to happen. Not
okay,
supposed
can I explain what happened?
to. Sure, let the viewers know what happened. That's why I'm
Okay.
looking down because I'm so tired. You could even see it in my
But
face.
I love seeing you, Rob, so it's okay.
No,
It's
no, you don't.
okay.
No, no, no. You'll
So,
see me when I go back. So no, when I go back to Cali, no.
so I woke up and I'm like, oh my god, I have to watch 3 episodes of Andor because I haven't had time to keep up with everyone. And so I'm in the middle of episode 6, and he's like, hey, we're not streaming today. But he sounded sad in the messages. So I was like, oh no, I'll still stream with you. It's okay. I just haven't seen episode 7. And then he's like, oh yeah, no, that's fine. I was like, oh, let's talk Star Wars news. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah. And then right now he's like, no, we're talking episode 7. I was like, well, I haven't seen it. So he said, be spoiled. And the funny thing is, even though I'm really behind on Andor, I have not seen a single spoiler anywhere on social media. I haven't even been trying to avoid spoilers. I just, for some reason, none have ever popped up on any
Wow.
of the social medias. So that's why I was like, oh, this is so funny. And then today you're like, I'm gonna break that. All
Yeah.
right, spoil it.
Yeah. So for those of you, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here for a while, welcome back.
Welcome back. You know our shenanigans.
Yeah, y'all already know the norm anyway. We're on the smaller channel, so it should be it's cool because we should have our regulars that normally watch us, so that's pretty nice. Um, we're already on episode 7 of Andor. How have you been liking the series? I mean, you've seen up until episode technically 4.
So I've seen halfway through episode 6, and I'm sticking by what I said when we did the live viewings. I
Right.
really like the show. I can see why some people say it's kind of slow, but I really enjoy the attention to detail. I really like that things are going a little slower and it's not all, you know, hardcore action and everything. I feel like it shows a more realistic side to, the rebellion and the empire, because not everything is all action, all fighting all the time. So I really like that we get to see, the planning stages. I really like that we get to see, how things slowly work out, because not everything is going to be as fast as the movie. So I'm really enjoying it. It really does feel like a spy show. I like all the attention to detail. This show, I feel like, was made for me. I love it. I feel like I'm watching a book pan out instead of just some fast show. Like, I thought I liked Boba Fett until I saw Andor, and I was like, God, Boba Fett was garbage. Everything was fast paced, but didn't even make sense. But this is gorgeous.
Oh my, you hear me, right?
Hmm.
Okay, cool. Can you see me?
Yeah,
Okay, cool. I didn't know if you could see. I'm sorry because I'm doing something.
no, you're good.
Um,
Also,
I,
his hair looks very nice. Great Jedi. You know it looks nice.
I'm, whoa, I don't know what just happened. I heard like double of me. That was so funny. Did you hear it?
Yeah.
That was really funny. It's so funny to hear yourself. By the
So,
way, Great Jet, I just want to respond. My hair, not depressed at all. But I can understand how people, when they're going through a funk or something, do stuff like that. No, I just randomly just was like, I want to shave my head. So yeah.
but it
I know
looks good.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate that. I know it does just concern very drastic. Ah, gotcha. No, I mean it's something I can't believe we're talking about my hair, but um, it's just something that I guess I thought about for a while and I just didn't care. It was just like it happened like
Mhm.
I did it like real quick. I was like, I don't kind of want to have long hair anymore. And I was like, yeah, let me just do it. And I was like, why not? Let my
Yeah.
hair like let my scalp breathe too. So he's
Yeah.
very dead. Jedi. But you are a real one, so you're kind of cute too. I love you. I love you. Always sticking around. No, but I mean overall with Andor, I think, from what we've seen, it's funny because like I on my main channel, like I put videos and talk about it. I don't know. I mean,
Mhm,
as you know, and it's like it's very like in the middle. Some people like I was reading some comments, like I'll read it too. Hold on, give me a second.
mhm.
Um,
So just for reference, I had to stop right up to the point where the little group was about to go into the garrison, so I stopped like literally at that point. So after
not the
that,
Garris. Oh, you don't know what happened with the heist.
so they were just about to start the heist. That's where I stopped. So
Yeah.
I'm ready for spoilers. I accept them.
Yeah, yeah. So, let me I just want to read a little bit of like the comments that I've seen from my channel about it. Yeah, they just yeah, they all do die unfortunately, Jasmine. So sorry about that.
Oh, okay. So the show ended early, huh?
Yeah. No, I mean, you have
Yikes.
people here that are just kind of like, seriously, it doesn't grasp my attention enough to even want to follow it. It's kind of boring. I tried watching, but just doesn't hit a note. Somebody says I stopped watching after episode 4. Um I no
Well,
no
because
ac-
we're. Oh
no
no, go ahead.
action no action, but we're finally seeing the direction the show intends us to see. Tension is building. I have to say, Hurley, it's been for years. I have to say, like, I think the show, I would say I actually enjoyed for the first time. I actually enjoyed episode 7.
Mhm,
Um, and I'll give you, I mean, we're going to talk about it, right? That's the whole purpose of doing this for a little bit,
mhm.
is that Palpatine actually gets referenced a lot in the episode. Like
Mhm.
they mention Mon Mothma, the Imperial security guards, like they talk about him a lot and how he's kind of up to speed on what's going on, and he's actually very much like informed and aware of everything.
Yeah. I mean, that
So
makes sense. He has to be. It's his whole operation.
he does, but I'm kind of actually kind of tight because I'm kind of like it's cool like we're getting Palpatine references and it makes a lot of sense. But I'm kind of like, yo, can we like get? I know like it's stretching it, but like, can it be Vader? Like I'm kind of
Mhm.
tired of Palpatine because like Palpatine's been in like every freaking thing. And it's
Yeah.
like, I just feel like we're burning him out. Like we're literally using him for just for any little thing, and it's like
Mhm.
like just seeing him in the Rise of Skywalker is like, all right, like that's a like,
Yeah, that did it for me. I was like, after this, I
yeah,
don't want to see Palpatine again.
yeah. Tales of the Jedi takes Tales of of the Jedi. I just think that like I'm kind of over the whole Palpatine thing. Like I think we need a new direction. Like even if it's not Vader, like Thrawn, like that's another
Mhm.
possibility too. Because I mean, you saw episode 4 and all the relics that we got, which was so
Yeah.
dope to see that. Even in the last like this episode that we just got in episode 7, I think it was like on in 6 or
Mhm.
5, we saw the relics again. So I wonder, and in this time we actually get to see the Jedi Temple Guard mask. So I want
Oh.
yeah, so I wonder if at any point in time
Mhm.
Luthen gets approached by possibly Thrawn at any point. I wonder if
Mhm.
that's a possibility because
I
Thrawn,
mean, that would make sense. Remember, he is a collector of,
yeah,
antiques and art, and it's not just paintings. He collects artifacts too, because that's how he studies the history. So it
yeah,
would make sense if either Thrawn or someone for Thrawn want to go pick stuff up.
yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I personally would love to see Thrawn. I think, and he's around at this time too. Like people
Mhm.
don't know, but like he's behind the scenes a lot. I mean, he's not the Thrawn that we've like come to know and like appreciate, but he is around. He's basically like in the beginning of the ranks of his career. Is Benedict Cumberbatch not supposed to be playing Thrawn?
Isn't
Well,
it Lars Mikkelsen?
um, I mean, we don't really know. Like that's kind of like the rumor. That's like what's out there. It's
Well,
kind
because
of
I
like
thought it was on Wikipedia and everything already.
no Wikipedia. First off, let's not even reference Wikipedia. Is like the last thing we want to be referencing. No, you mean IMBD? That's what you
Okay,
mean.
IMDb. Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, there too. I remember seeing Lars Mikkelsen. It said like Thrawn, but I don't remember for what.
No, I don't think it's confirmed just yet. From what I saw from the IMBD, it's not confirmed just yet. It's
Mhm.
kind of like he's just like there because the other one too is I think it's called his name is Jason Isaac. I don't know if you know who that is. I forgot.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
his name was thrown around a little while ago as well. So
Mhm.
I mean, you know, there's a couple rumors that are out there on the character. Nothing is set in stone, but we did get some news on the series finally being wrapped up. It just finished filming, so that
For
for
which one?
Ahsoka,
Oh,
so they could possibly use the character for other things, meaning Thrawn, whoever the actor is, they could use him for whatever shows they're going to be doing, you
yeah.
know, in the time being. So I wonder, you know, I guess that's the $1 million question is who do you guys want to see play Thrawn? You know, I mean,
I would.
yeah,
Oh
who
no,
do
go
you
ahead.
want to see? No, no, no.
Um, I would like Lars Mikkelsen because I think he's a really good actor. But if
Do you know?
not, I do. I personally do. But if not, I would absolutely my top choice would be I'm I'll feel so bad I forgot his name, but he's the guy who does who narrates the Thrawn books, the audiobooks.
Okay.
He just does such an amazing voice for Thrawn that I'm like him. I want him to do it. I don't care how he looks, if they have to put prosthetics on him, whatever the hell. His voice is perfect. It's immaculate.
Right.
If not, then Lars Mikkelsen is fine, or maybe Lee Pace. Jason Isaacs would do good too, because yeah, that was Lucius Malfoy, right?
Uh, couldn't tell you. You talking about Lord of the? Are you talking about Harry Potter?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Lucius Malfoy. And
Girl,
then,
I didn't watch. I mean, I think I saw like the first two movies. I didn't see anything after that.
I think the lady who plays Cyril's mom in Andor, I'm pretty sure she was in Harry Potter too. She played like one of the neighbors in one of the films. I'm like really sure. I didn't check yet though.
Yeah, you should check it. You should
Oh
check.
my gosh, but I was cracking up because when I was watching episode 5, he's sitting there all sad and depressed. And she's basically like, you're a disappointment, but here's some more cereal.
I know.
I
Space
was
cereal.
losing it. I was like,
Space cereal.
yeah.
Well, rest assured, my man has an interview with the Empire and actually gets a job working behind desks.
Through his uncle, right? Because
Yeah.
that's what they were talking about.
I'm still curious to know who his uncle even is. They haven't said it, so.
I think they said a name, but I don't remember. I don't remember the name, but I remember that they said a name.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know his significance to the Empire or whatever. Maybe he's like this like big person that we just like don't even know of yet. So
She was in Harry Potter. She was in Harry Potter in Order of the Phoenix, Arabella Fig.
why does that name sound so familiar? Wait, which Harry Potter?
The 5th one, she played Mrs. Fig, the one who,
It's Fig.
when Harry and Dudley were like recovering from the dementia attack, she's the one that went to go help take Dudley back to the house, and she's the one that vouched for him.
When you mentioned Dudley, the only Dudley that comes to mind is the Dudley Boys from WWE. So I don't even know what the hell you're talking about right now.
The cousin, the mean fat cousin Dudley.
Oh, he died?
No, he didn't die. He just got attacked.
He just got attacked. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he just got attacked.
Oh,
Just a little attack. He almost lost his soul. It's fine.
So we actually have a special guest who has. You're gonna laugh. This is a good one for you, Jasmine. You actually would you get a kick out of this one. They've been watching some Star Wars lately. Maybe that'll kind of give you the hint. They've been watching Star Wars lately. They've been trying to get into it a lot, and you know, again, here we're all about opportunity. So, let's welcome Binksy. What's up?
Yes, I love you, Binksy.
Hi everyone. Hi Jasmine. Hi Darth.
What's going on?
Thanks for having me on. I feel like I've been a part of the show in the comments for a minute now.
Yeah.
Yes. You've been what is it? You've been a consistent follower, other than Grey
Yes,
Jedi.
I'm fan numero uno right here.
There you go. Grey Jedi even says hi. What's going on?
Hi, Grey Jedi. Yeah, no, I feel like I've been sort of caught up with Andor, but I definitely feel like I like the character.
Really? Okay, not bad, not bad. Yeah, that's what we're talking about here is just kind of like, you know, what the series has kind of done so far. I mean, Jasmine hasn't seen all of the episodes. I don't know. Have you seen all of them as well, Binksy, or you're not really caught up?
I think I've seen all of them minus the last one, the most recent one. So I have a pretty good idea of like what's been going on, but I could use an update on the last one.
It's okay.
Wait, real quick. So Binksy, you're a Harry Potter fan, right?
Yes, massive.
So the lady who plays Mrs. Fig plays one of the guy's moms.
So do you remember the guy who lost his job?
The disappointing son.
Yes, the bad guy.
Yes. Remember his mom? Do you remember the part with his mom?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what
Mrs. Fish.
Yes, I totally saw that. I was like, she looks so familiar. Oh my God. And you know what? Like, that guy, I gotta go back to that guy because he was eating cereal for like 20 minutes in that episode.
Oh, okay.
And I really kind of like, at one point, I felt for him a little bit. And I was like, okay, you know, that sucks. Your job and your life, what you thought you were going to be. But on the other hand, like, you're a grown man, you know, on the wrong side of things. You know, like, eat your tricks cereal. Just be a good boy. Like, listen to mom.
I was cracking up. I was telling Rob because I was like, "Oh my god, the mom just keeps saying, "Hey, you're a disappointment, but here's your cereal." She's
I know.
supporting.
I know. I know. That's the funny part about it. It's just like, but it's funny because like with his character now. So I don't know if you know Binksy. I mean, I kind of broke the news to Jasmine that in this episode he actually ends up working for. He gets an opportunity through his uncle, who's I guess this big person in the empire, and gets an interview. And it's funny because they say like we're gonna basically because remember he did what he did and the empire knows about it, meaning he tried to do what he did in a sense of going after Cassian Andor on his own, like went under the wraps, and they know about it, and they kind of said like, well, we'll put what you did under, like we won't even like let that be a problem for you to get this opportunity here. So he's got his job back, but I wonder if him and Cyril at any time. Cyril is the other person who takes the job very, very serious. That's the blonde girl. If they could now, I don't know if you guys, well, you guys wouldn't know, but from episode 7, it ends up being that she ends up getting put in that sector now. So she's actually in charge of that, like of Primorla, whatever it's called, that planet. So because before there was, well, in this episode, it was kind of like they had like this big meeting, and it was just basically like, they were trying to basically get her in trouble, but she didn't. And it ended up being, she got promoted to being in charge of that sector and finding out what's going on and how, like, the mission is to find out where Cassian is and who he is. And by the way, FYI, Cassian ends up going to jail.
No.
Wow.
It's so funny because the girl goes and says, "You're going to jail for 6." And he's like, "Okay, possibly like 6 weeks, 6 months." And she goes, 6 years. And he's like, 6 years. And she's like,
oh
take
my God.
And he's just like, no, you got to be kidding me. And
You know what is weird though? So
What?
do you remember in Rogue One, he told Jin, he was like, I've been in this fight since I was 6. And he made it seem like he's been fighting on the side of the rebellion for all these years. But then in the show, it's kind of like, he kind of has the attitude of, I hate the Empire, but I'm not really going to do too much. And that's why it was just kind of odd for me, especially in episode 5 when he was saying that, when he was basically like, I'm just here for the money. Yeah, the Empire sucks, but it's not really my problem.
That's a good point. It does
That
contradict
struck me
it.
as weird. I was like, okay, but in Rogue One, he's just, he's making such a big deal out of, he's been fighting tooth and nail for his whole life, but then in the show, it's kind of like,
but
not really.
I totally hear you, because I when he said that, I was like, all right, that's pretty. You're kind of being low key on purpose. I feel like maybe he's trying to just be a little secretive, and he just kind of met all these people and he got into this crowd. I don't think he wants everyone to know how passionate he is and where he really comes from yet. I think he's just like, vibing with the people around him and just giving as the bare minimum so that no one really suspects him or questions him. Like that's a really simple solution for things. Oh, I go to this job, I work for the money. That's the only reason why. No one's gonna doubt that.
So do you think there was still that same passion though before he left the previous city, where you could see that he had at least some type of passion for the rebellion, or did it feel more like he's just like, I'm surviving?
For which city? I'm sorry.
So before he went with the rebellion guy, remember before they got captured when he had the box? So that other town place that he was at, was there that same passion that you guys think, or
I
like?
think so. I mean, because if you think about it, I don't know if it was this. Oh, yeah, I think it was this episode. Whoever's watching, correct me if I'm wrong, because I just saw the episode like once or like I saw it like once and a half. Like, so I don't remember too much of it, but I remember. Well, today we also got a flashback. So there was a flashback of clone troopers that we got to see, which was cool. The Phase 2 clone troopers. And I mean, he's been fighting because, again, he was, if you think about it, he has since the moment that I think her name is Marv, since she took him in, he's been fighting with her, and she's technically a part of a rebellion, maybe not the rebellion that we've come to know with like Saw Gerrera and, obviously what we have now, right? But I think that he's been fighting for the rebellion in the sense of like freedom, for their planet to have freedom, and for whatever the cause was that, his mother figure that he had was fighting for. So yeah, I think that's what he means when he says, I've been fighting this fight, because that goes back to Rogue One, in a sense, fighting this fight since I was 6. He probably again, we haven't really seen what happened before, because it also was mentioned that Luthen knows his father. Like, that was one of the things that came up today. Was like in the episode, is like, how does he know my father? And they just kind of said, like, we don't know, like, I can't answer you that, because he ends up going back to the Pre-Moral. He ends up going back to the planet. I don't know if you know that, but he went back, and he goes to see Bix, and he asked Bix, like, how does he know all this stuff about me? And she's like, I have no idea, to be honest with you. And he's like, oh, come on, you're kidding. And she's like, no, I really don't. So I think there's a lot more to this. And one of the things that I took away was that also too, Marv was like, remember how like the whole purpose of his search is to find his sister as well. Marv ends up saying, don't look for your sister. It's not worth it. Like, whoever was on that planet is basically gone.
Yeah.
You think she's gone? You think the sister's really gone?
I don't
know. I don't know.
Maybe I'll have a better opinion after I see the episode, and I can, see how he's telling him.
Right. Do you think he will pay all the money back he owes? Well, I mean, he paid back Bix. I mean, he paid her back the 12,000 credits, or 12,000 he had paid her. So, he was up to date. By the way, the episode was very mature today, because we had another sex scene with him and another girl.
What the heck?
Yeah, and he was like in the shower without a shirt, and she was literally with no clothes with the
Whoa.
I was like, okay, like, you guys
are really
content. So
this is an adult show for sure.
Oh yeah, hands down. So like, I was like, oh damn, like, they're really showing this. Like, it was funny, because like my man went to like this like warm country planet, and like, it was funny. Like, it looked like he was dressed like a Cubano. Like, he was out and about, like, on the streets of like Florida, on Miami Beach. He had like the moccasins on, and you saw, it was cool because you got to see shore troopers. You got to see the K2 unit, actually, the Imperial Security droid. They were there. And that was one of the droids that actually held up Cassian right before they took him away. This episode had a lot of cool stuff. I mean, like I said, it had the Jedi Temple Guard. And then that was it. And like I said, a lot of references to Palpatine. So I mean, at this point, the episode I thought it was a really good one. I give it a 7 out of 10. And that's a lot for me. Yeah, for me to give that. Yeah. Grey Jedi says, do we really need sex in Star Wars? We have Game of Thrones for that.
You know what? That's kind of funny, because like, they don't talk about any of that in Star Wars. And the first time I ever heard about sex in Star Wars was in Master and Apprentice, the book, when Qui-Gon walks in on like his friend having sex, and then, the lady leaves, obviously. But then Qui-Gon, I forgot what exactly he said, but he was like, we're not supposed to have attachments, right? And then the friend was like, hey, look, we're Jedi. We're allowed to get laid. We just can't have relationships. And I was like, oh my God, they're talking about sex in Star Wars. This is so weird. and then that one sex scene with Bix and her asshole dead boyfriend. I was like, oh, snap.
We saw her in the bed, and he was like sitting there in the corner. I was like, okay.
I was like, oh, it's happening, I guess.
But you definitely pick up on a lot more like, adult level feelings and tension. And that's kind of what's interesting about him, about Cassian, because like the first few episodes, all I really saw from him was like survival, desperation, you know, like staying kind of secretive. Like when in the first time, I think in the first episode, like he shot some cop in the face,
Yeah, he
like
should.
at the very beginning to escape because they were like, you know, they were robbing him or shaking him down or whatever. And when he did that, I really thought that was the time that I realized like he kind of has it in him to be a little cold and just to like make snap decisions to survive. I really thought he was gonna, you know, let them go or whatever, and he just like shot him point blank. So I feel like slowly we're kind of getting to know him more and more, and the sex scenes and like the romance it's building is showing a little bit more of like who he is when he's not just like a desperate cowboy running around looking for money or hiding gems under his shirt. Like, you know, does he meet someone? How does he work in a group? How does he feel when he's out and about? So I feel like we're getting to know him more, which I like because I'm tired of seeing like, you know, desperate survival mode.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's a person behind that survival mode. You know, they have thoughts, they have feelings, they have other stuff going on.
Preach, Binksy. Okay.
Yeah, great Jedi's. Yeah, we're all on the same wavelength. Like, we want to know who he is. Like, he's our character. He's our guy. We want to know. You know, all I know is that he went through some really tough stuff. He has a lot of trauma from his childhood. He's desperate to see his sister. You know, but who is he as an adult? Like, how does he interact with other people? How is he in a group? How does he feel? Like, and slowly we're learning more and more, which I'm happy about. But I actually have to hop off.
Well, thank you
So
for
I
your
want
time.
to, yeah, thank you, Darth. Thank you, Jasmine. And keep going. I love this stuff. This is awesome.
Yeah, it was good to talk to you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. That was fun.
That was fun. I like getting Binksy's opinion because, you know, they're always chiming in on the comments, and so it's nice to finally get to hear them, you know, join in with us, even if it was only for a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. We appreciate that. But yeah, no, definitely you got to catch up on the latest episode. So definitely make that.
Will.
Definitely.
After we're done here, I'm definitely gonna go watch the rest because
yeah,
I don't want to miss out.
yeah, the heist was good. I have to say the episode was kind of boring. It dragged up until the heist. I will say that. My only issue is that what I don't like that that this show is doing is that and I get it. Every show has its like, you know, filler episodes, which is fine. I just don't like it when it's a 12 episode live action show that like there's actually like a filler episode, and I don't want to call it a filler episode because like that just sounds like so toxic. But it's the truth. Is like with this show, I just feel like we're always getting like each arc. Like it's like 3 episodes. Like you have to use 3 episodes in order to get to the main point. Like like you'll see what I'm talking about when you get to the heist. It's like you notice like it took 3 episodes to figure out that he needed to leave that planet pre-morale. Then it's like you need 3 episodes to get to the heist. Like it just you didn't need like 2 episodes to explain, you know, to get there. Because like episode 5, I'll be honest, like it was just like it was stupid. It was just kind of like a pre-thing of like right before the heist. It was an episode that you didn't need.
Think about it like this: all the other, I don't know if, well, I don't think all is fair, but most of the other shows have been just so fast paced. It's all action, action, action. This is the first time we're getting a show that there's actual planning, there's a lot of details involved. And I know for some people that have the shorter attention spans, they don't like that.
I do.
But then
I'll be so blind. My attention span is like, yay.
I mean, it's not a bad thing to have a shorter attention span. That's not a bad thing. But that's why the other shows were catered to people with shorter attention spans. This like show, I really genuinely feel like this show is catered more towards the people who enjoy the books, to the people who enjoy actually seeing things like pan out. So that's why I really feel like this show was made for a different type of Star Wars fan, and I really like it. That's why when I hear people complaining about it, you know, I get it. Everyone's entitled to their opinions, but then I'm kind of like, well, all the other shows are geared towards the people complaining, but then for the people who like actually like seeing
like a
story,
like a good storytelling story, like, you know, like something that is not full of action, full of like, you know, this is like, you know, it's a rebel spot. It's like a mystery show, you know, like it's like watching a mystery show that you have to, how shall I say it? You have to use your brain. You have to use your brain.
You have to use your brain.
Yes, it's not like,
A little extra thought power.
yeah, it's not just simple like me hit you and we
Mhm.
fight and all this stuff. I'm being real. I'm calling a spade, and
Yeah.
I like it. I personally, I don't mind it. Not
Mhm.
meaning I like those other shows, not Andor. I
Yeah.
I will say, however, though, when you see episode 7 for me, when I watched it, it made me feel like I was watching like an actual series of something
Mhm.
like that. It just did everything. It told the story, but like it had a little bit of like suspense because it had Mon Mothma in it, Mon Mothma. Who I was yeah, I always obliterate her name.
It's
Um,
okay.
you had a little bit of all that, and that's what I really appreciated from episode 7 is that it was a little bit of action, a little bit of storytelling, more character development. Like I didn't even notice the one character, like Vel, like she was back, she was there. I didn't even notice like when it
Mhm.
was the girl who the person who works for Luthen, like she was there speaking to because they were like,
Mhm.
oh well, we don't know, and then Cassian, like because now they're looking for Cassian. That's the funny thing is like Luthen and them are looking for Cassian because they don't because he knows too much, so they kind of basically want to off him.
Mhm.
Supposedly, that's what I'm gathering. So there's a lot of back and forth, and I think if you see episode 7, you'll see that it's kind of like I feel like it's like all the episodes kind of into one now. I feel like they all
Mhm.
came together, and episode 7 was like that closing chapter of like, all right, like this is what the show is. Like I can kind of take it. And I didn't mind, and I actually rated it 7 out of 10. So,
Mhm.
like I said before, it's I really liked it. It was really good.
Mhm.
See
I'm
what
excited to watch it.
Yeah, episode 7 really hit for me. So I mean,
Mhm.
again, the heist was cool. The heist was cool, but I liked 7 a lot. So
Mhm.
we'll see what happens. But
Yeah.
with that being said, you want to talk about some other little Star Wars news and then we'll kind of sign off.
Yeah, I'm down.
Cool. So it ends up being that the Ahsoka series actually just finished wrapping up.
Mhm.
Super exciting. Obviously we don't know the full cast yet, but the Sabine actress Natasha Liu Bordizzo put it
Mhm.
out there. I think she had put like an image or a statement that kind of says like basically like they wrapped up, and then like I think a stunt person from the cast as well
Mhm.
kind of gave like the same response. So they're done. The show should be airing, I'm assuming, pretty soon because we know Mando season 3 wrapped up already,
Mhm.
and then now this is gonna happen. What are your thoughts though on Ahsoka overall? I mean, we
Mhm.
haven't really touched on it, I think, in a while.
I don't know too much about what's gonna go on with that. Basically, she's looking for Thrawn and helping to build up Sabine so they can find Ezra and all that, right?
Yeah,
That's what I'm gathering. I
yeah,
am excited because I really do like Sabine. At first I thought her character was such a goddamn annoying teenager, but then, as the series went on for Rebels, I was like, wow, I really like her. I misjudged her. She had a hard life. So I really like her character. I'm excited to see where the show goes. I'm Something I think I had to learn after Book of Boba Fett was be excited, but don't have my hopes too high up. I want to be pleasantly surprised. So I'm excited, but I'm not going to let myself get overhyped just in case.
right, right. There's no way it can fail. I mean, yeah, I don't think Ahsoka could fail anybody. Now, one of the things that I was talking to somebody about is that like, does Andor get pushed back with like Mando's gonna come out, then Ahsoka, like what happens to I feel like Andor is gonna be like so forgotten because there's so much to come for the Mandalorian and Ahsoka. Like there's a
Mhm.
lot. And I just feel like Andor's gonna be kind of like, by the way, we have a special guest, by the way. We have the one, the only, everything Star Wars. What's going on, bud?
What's
Hey.
up? Hey, how are you?
Been a while. Been a while.
Yeah. I've been very, very busy. How's everything?
Good, man. Good. Can't complain. Thank you for hopping on, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, I was in a meeting. I'm sorry that I couldn't answer your text. I
You're
was.
good. You're good. You're good.
Look at the hairdo. Look at this.
I know, dude. I know.
Whoa, look at mine's going and yours is like so. I feel embarrassed. Like I put a hat on. But
So those of you who don't know, me and everything Star Wars / Rob's rules,
yeah, that's better.
We live in the same state, so we've met up a couple times. So that like that's why when he says about the hair, it's yeah. So but we're talking about Ahsoka right now. We passed the Andor stage.
Okay,
Ahsoka just finished wrapping up filming.
I heard that.
Yeah. So overall, I think you were saying you were speaking. I don't know. You were asking Jasmine like what? What was your question? I'm sorry.
Because I was saying it's basically going to be about Ahsoka and Sabine finding Ezra and Thrawn. It's basically just going to be that, right?
It's that, and then also too, I mean, they're gonna have to talk about the world between worlds. I mean, I think that's the biggest elephant in the room. You know, I
Yeah.
think they need to talk about how that comes into play because that's the logo on the Ahsoka series. That's literally like that triangle thing. So, you know, they have to. I mean, they have to touch on that, do they? I mean, what do you think, Rob?
Yeah, I mean, I guess they're gonna have to talk about. I mean, the main thing has got to be they're gonna look for Ezra. That's got to
Correct.
be because everybody's like, what happened with Ezra?
Well, it's been
What
30
happened with Bran?
years.
Oh yeah, so
It's been 30 years.
Wait,
yeah,
30.
30 years is that the time frame?
If
Wait,
I'm not
no. Since Rebels, it'll have been like 10 years.
No, but when they
Or
find
five,
Ezra,
five
when
or
they
six.
find Ezra, it's been like a long, long time.
So Ahsoka takes place like what, a few years after Mando then?
Yeah, it takes place after Mando. Yeah, it
Because
takes.
Rebels ends like
I'm sorry,
about
not 30 years, but like it takes place a long time after Rebels.
well,
because
because remember, Rebels ends. It ends
right before New
around the
Hope.
same time as Episode 4. Mando takes place about 5 years after
Hold on.
Episode 6.
I'm
Okay,
gonna
so
look
yeah,
up
like
I'm gonna
10-ish
look up
years.
the time frame. So let me
Yeah,
see.
look up
Yeah,
the time frame.
yeah, let me
But
look it up.
it's
Okay,
a,
so
it's a
sounds
significant.
like 10. Well, 10 years isn't 30.
No, I mean, yeah, that's why I said I take it back. Not
That's why I was
30.
like, hold on.
But it's a long time, and like at that point, like that's why like I think about it. I'm like, a lot has to have happened to Ezra. Like he had, well, first off, he's gonna be older. That's number one for starters.
Mhm.
Number two, I mean, I would
Yeah,
feel like,
but first off, wherever they are, right?
well,
They
they're
would
in the
have
unknown regions. That's what we know.
right, and they would have to coexist.
That's what
If
I was.
they- if-
That's what I
if-
was gonna get to. That wouldn't it be that now Thrawn, maybe Ezra is kind of like, because we've seen Ezra kind of like finagle with the dark side a lot, and I think that maybe just maybe Thrawn has made Ezra his puppet. That's what I'm thinking.
I feel like Ezra has definitely learned enough that he won't do that. I haven't read all the Thrawn books. It's on my list, but I know that there's some type of issue back in Chiss space. So something that I had been reading.
I love that Chiz.
So something that I had been reading online was that, you know, if Ezra and Thrawn ended up in Chiss space, that possibly Ezra was helping Thrawn and his people against like the big invaders that had gone that Eli was warning Thrawn about. So maybe Ezra could have helped. They could have teamed up, but I don't think that they would become like besties or anything. And I definitely don't think he would become a puppet. But as a Jedi, you know, he's learned from Kanan, he's learned from others, especially, you know, Kanan and Ahsoka. So I feel like he would help them because they need help, but he's not going to team up with them for other stuff.
Now, hear me out. Rob, did you find out the time frame yet?
I'm trying to get it.
Okay, so
I just got shocked because one of the YouTubers actually has a website. I'm like, whoa, when did this happen?
I know, right?
You're like, what the hell?
No, well, let's hear this scenario. Could you imagine now? Let's just play this what if, right? Because we obviously know Marvel has their own version, so the Eternal Sith will have his own what if. What if what if it ends up being that when Ahsoka finds Ezra, Ezra's turn, and her goal is to save Ezra, but they fight it out to turn him back. What if it ends up being like something like that?
You think he's gonna turn? Is that what you're thinking?
I think he has turned, and I think that when Ahsoka finds him, that's gonna be Ahsoka's greatest challenge, and that's how Anakin Skywalker comes back as a Force ghost and helps Ahsoka deal with this problem. And kind of reminds her of what he had went through when he became his, Darth Vader, as opposed to Anakin Skywalker, that transition. So that way she could understand where Ezra's coming from with his change in character. That's an idea.
Okay, so we have, according to this, we have episode 1, episode 2, Clone Wars, episode 3, Obi-Wan, Solo, Cassian Andor,
right?
Star Wars Rebels, Rogue One. But I don't see the dates on this. But that's right now the order. So I'll try to get the dates.
Right. Yeah. So
there's a timeline that I had seen online. It was in regards to Thrawn and Rebels, and so Rebels ends about a year-ish before episode 4, and then between episode 4 and 6, what is that? It was 5 years. It was about 5 years.
Yeah, it's funny. And the Mandalorian comes after episode 6,
which is another 5 years. So then that means if Ahsoka takes place around the same time as Mando, it'll have been about 10 years since Ezra and Thrawn disappeared.
I would think it's like 10 to 15.
Okay, wait.
Yeah,
This
15
one
makes sense.
This one says Rebels was. It says Andor 5 BBY, Rebels 5 BBY, 0
5 years.
BBY. Yeah,
they waited 5 years to go to after he went missing.
Yeah.
So
Ahsoka looks like. I mean, according to this, they're saying Boba Fett, Ahsoka, Mandalorian is right before the Force Awakens.
yeah,
they should not.
Wait, no, but that doesn't make sense because Luke is still very young and he's still going to do the temple, so it can't be right before the Force Awakens because then he'd be old by then. He's still young. He's like it has to be a few years after episode 6.
I think that's what I got confused. I think that happens 30 years late, not 30, but.
So Force Awakens is 30 years after.
Force Awakens is 34 ABY.
Right.
Yeah.
And
so that's 34.
They're saying Ahsoka would be approximately 5 years after Andor. They're saying 10 ABY for Ahsoka.
So then, yeah, that would be like 10-ish years after Rebels, after episode 4.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can't be before The Force Awakens because Luke is too young.
Yeah, still really young.
Well, you know why it would make sense? Because they're saying the Force Awakens is 34 ABY, but Ahsoka is 10, which is a 24-year difference.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so that makes more sense than it being right before The Force Awakens. It makes more sense if it's 10 years.
So something happened between Ahsoka and the Force Awakens. So there's a 24-year gap of nothingness right now.
Right.
So they could put anything that they want with Disney Star Wars there.
Well, that's the purpose. Well, that's the purpose of these shows. I mean, they said it. The Mandalorian is supposed to lead up until the First Order. Like you were gonna see the rise of the First Order. Like I wouldn't be surprised at any point. By the way, I have to give credit to Grey Jedi. He's like, hell yeah, I'd see that shit. Back to what I was saying about.
Oh, okay. They have a little bit more here. They have Lando. This is very small. Lando droid Rogue Squadron, which is not happening, and Visions. Okay, so Lando and the droid show. I don't know what the droid is.
Well, those are different. Visions isn't canon. Visions has nothing to do with anything.
They're putting the Lando after the Rise of Skywalker.
No, that can't be.
That can't be right?
No, because then
Lando's
he'd be old as dirt.
Yeah, no, Lando's supposed to take place.
Oh, never mind. They don't have years for that yet.
Yeah,
those are just there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. No, because I remember they were saying
very small. So I'm trying to read it here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's supposed. Lando's supposed to happen like basically like kind of around like a little bit after Solo, so it's around that time frame, which would make sense because they said that they were gonna get what's his name? Oh my god, I'm blanking. Not Donald Glover. What's his name? The original Lando. I can't.
Billy D. Williams.
Yeah, Billy D. Williams. He's supposed to be the narrator for the Lando series.
Oh, that would make sense. Yeah,
which would be really, really cool. I would love to see that.
And the Acolyte is 82 BBY.
Oh yeah, well,
which Acolyte, is like
Acolyte is 50 years before the prequels.
Yes, that makes sense because the prequels take place 19 to 22 BBY. That's like the Clone Wars.
Yeah,
right. So Clone Wars timeline.
So here it is. So the Acolyte is 82 BBY. That's the very first thing.
Right.
Episode 1, if I could read this, is 12 BBY.
Like with the glasses.
Yeah, I have to lift my glasses to see this thing. It's like
that means if you're not even using your glass, that's how you know your eyesight is bad, bro. Because you don't even have the glasses.
Oh on. No, my glasses are for distance. But when I'm close up, I don't need my glasses. Like right now, I could see you clearly. But if I take them off, I have to come in this close now, so I can see you. But here, I can only see a red shirt and your black hair and your face is kind of foggy.
Oh my gosh, terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
I
eyes
mean,
suck.
well, that's like
Hey,
that.
listen,
That's what.
when you turn 50 BBY, that's just what happens, man.
By the way, happy birthday! Rob just had a
Thank
birthday.
you.
Turned a big
Oh, happy
50.
Thank
50
you.
years old. Happy birthday, dude! Congrats, and many, many more. Um,
Thank you, man.
but yeah, I mean, that's what they said that this was gonna happen. They said that all these shows were gonna intertwine together. Like even Andor was supposed to go into all of this. They're gonna all I mean, they're all gonna connect. We know that. I guess the $1 million question, it goes back to Ahsoka. Let's talk about that. Is with Ahsoka, does how does the whole thing with Ezra go down? Because I mean, again, I personally think that I would love to see something like that where it's like a redemption story for Ahsoka and understanding why Anakin changed, and the whole, because I mean, like, what do I really need Hayden Christensen to come back as a Force ghost if there's no there's nothing, there's no trials or tribulation. Like, you don't really need him if she's not going through anything. But if she's going through something, it makes all the more sense to have him in that series, so that way she can like gain that help and that assist from Anakin Skywalker.
So what if her internal struggle is protecting Luke and protecting the future Jedi? Her struggle is trying to keep the Jedi alive when for so long they had been wiped out. She thought she was one of the last ones, and then finally she sees more. So what if her struggle is just trying to keep the Jedi alive, trying to protect Luke?
But she wouldn't need to protect Luke, though. Luke is already he's
a grown up, but don't forget she's basically anti-Ahsoka. So Luke and Leia are the last remnants of someone who was basically her big brother, and Padme was definitely like a big sister. So basically, these are the last remnants of her family that she has in the sense of Jedi and familial. So she feels like she has to protect him, even as an adult, and protect the future Jedi.
I think so, because I mean, if you think about it, I don't think really Luke needs help at this point. He just defeated Palpatine, and he just not Papa. He just defeated the Empire. He just defeated.
He defeated them, but defeating them is different than raising a whole new generation of Jedi. When he thought he was going to be the last one, now it turns out there's going to be more. So that's a pretty big deal.
Well, I think with Star Wars, there's always more, right? Because what they're trying to say is, look,
love you, Jasmine.
It's a big circle, right?
Yeah.
And they stressed that in what was it, the first movie, that the sequel trilogy,
Force Awakens.
Yeah, so he says whenever the light rises, the dark rises, the light to meet it, right? So it's a continuous cycle. So every time the dark takes over, then the light comes. If the light takes over, then the dark comes. It's a never-ending cycle.
Right.
And every time someone thinks they're going to wipe out the other side, they can't, because the Force needs balance, right?
Yeah.
If it's unbalanced, it's not going to work. It balances itself out.
Right.
And that's why I think the answer to all of it, if they ever wanted to end it, is to have that one person who I guess you could say is like a Mace Windu or a Count Dooku, who's not evil per se, but not good per se. I guess the Gray Jedi, which is fan made. But
that's kind of like what Kate Skywalker was, which was the last Skywalker of the lineage, which obviously exists in the EU. He was kind of like in the middle, and that's what I wonder. Maybe that's, again, I know we're going sequels here, but maybe that's one of the things we have to see with Rey. Is that one scene that we saw, I think in the Rise of Skywalker, when she saw her dark side. Is that kind of going to what you're saying, everything Star Wars, is that, she is a little bit of both, because she does have, remember, she is a Palpatine.
Right.
So she has darkness in her. She does have it.
What I would love is that if they did a continuation from that, and she's trying to fight through this, right? And because Finn, we know, he's got the power, right? We found that out at the very end.
He is Force sensitive, for sure.
So let's say Finn is training and he's learning from the masters, maybe Yoda or whoever it is, Qui-Gon, whoever it is, they start training him, and Rey's trying to teach him. But deep down, when Rey's alone, maybe she hears Palpatine's voice continuously in her head. Or maybe when he said, if you kill me, I'm going to be a part of you. And maybe he is secretly a part of her. And maybe then she turns because she can't resist, right? She thought she could fight it. but she couldn't because she wasn't properly trained. So now, since she wasn't really trained too well, she can't fight the dark side. She gives in to the dark. Her parents are killed.
I think that would make a great post sequels. Honestly, I think that'd be, if it was like trying to bring her back. I think that would be something different, and I think that'd be something that I would love to see. I think that could be their medicine, you know, and also it could be a redemption story too for John Boyega, you know, who wanted to be a Jedi.
I agree.
I think that would be a great way to bring him back. I think he would be like, hell yeah, if I can get this type of redemption, oh dude, sign me up tomorrow. I'll do it.
And imagine like they brought Broom Boy because now he's an older, right?
Yeah.
And they bring him, and he's like, you know what? You remember that kid, Rose? I need you to go find that kid. I need you to bring him here. You know, and he starts training a couple of kids, and maybe she gets a little frustrated and angry because she sees he's really learning the ways, you know, and maybe she struggles. Maybe she's struggling with the loss of Ben. She's struggling with the loss of that she killed her own grandfather.
That she didn't even know of.
Right, that her parents are dead. Maybe this is her trials and tribulations. Maybe she goes back to the planet and goes into the dark side cave. Doesn't even worry about it, right? And she doesn't tell anybody. And then she goes in there, and maybe the dark side takes her over, and she sees her parents getting killed.
You know what she reminds
me
of?
I think that would be a great way to have her turn to the dark side. And now Finn has got to take on her and try to bring her back. And at the end, everybody can get what they want. She'll see Ben. Like maybe she's about to kill him at the very end of the movie. The last movie, she's going to kill Finn. She doesn't care anymore. And then she sees Ben in the background. And Ben, maybe she's like, oh my God, you know, and maybe they could, and this is what I would have done but who knows? I just think it would, it would bring,
passionate.
I think it would, I am. I just think it would bring what everybody wants to see.
Yeah.
You know, instead of, because everybody's biggest problem was Rey never had a challenge. Well, now Rey has a huge challenge and she can't handle it herself.
You know who she reminds me of kind of? She kind of reminds me of Ezra. She kind of reminds me of Ezra.
Yeah.
Because Ezra has had I apologize for that. Ezra has had that same issue of kind of like dabbling a little bit in the dark side, you know, kind of falling almost, you know, getting lured in by Darth Maul and everything. And I think that with Rey, I think that she has that same struggle. And I think that now she no longer, and that's why I think with Ezra not having, you know, Ahsoka around or Kanan, the same thing with Rey. She doesn't have Ben. She doesn't have Leia. I mean, yeah, they're there as Force ghosts, but they're not there physically to guide her the way Luke was able to guide her in The Last Jedi, the way Leia was able to guide her in The Rise of Skywalker. It's a different type now of Rey that we're going to get. So it could be that she has that same struggle. And who knows? I mean, look, we don't know what happens to Ezra. What if he ends up showing in the post? I mean, we don't know. We don't know who's still around because, like, you know, for all we know, we don't even know Ahsoka's, you know, demise. We don't know what happens to her. They say that she's, you know, dead because, you know, all the voices that we heard are a fallen Jedi, but we don't know realistically. Right. And then it's like the whole world between worlds is like, you know, that's a whole nother thing because I always think about this. Gadget Trish, you're never late. If anything, you're just early and we're late. One of the things that I thought about is like, you know, I don't know if you guys have really like kind of like dove into the whole world between worlds and thought about this, but like Ahsoka should have been dead. Ahsoka should have been dead with Vader. You know, it always made me, I always question it because, you know, as she then tells Ezra after Ezra went and saved her, but that's also too because of the you know, the daughter that put her essence in the Moride, the bird, the owl, shall I say. You know, when he wants to go save Kanan, she says, no, don't do that. You know, I couldn't save my master, you know, whatever, But she just saved him. I mean, he just saved her.
Right.
So he took her out of one timeline. So, I mean, I know like this is like kind of stretching it and everything, but I really do believe that there's going to be something like, I feel like you have like kind of like two timelines. You have the timeline of the prequels and everything that we've gotten. Then you have the Ahsoka timeline with the Clone Wars, because think about this, right? Let's think about this for a second. The Kenobi series, it was said that we were going to see some heavy duty Clone Wars attire in that, and we never got to see that. It was very much focused on the prequel trilogy and original trilogy content and Star Wars Rebels. But Star Wars Rebels is after, so that's totally fine. But what I'm saying is that it goes to show you that kind of timeline is different than what we had here. Because not once was Ahsoka mentioned. Not once was anything kind of like Clone Wars was really referenced in that. So I believe that there's two timelines. I really do believe that. And people could say whatever they want, but I just feel like Ahsoka is it's not, when you hear Ahsoka, like the Ashley Eckstein version of her in Rise of Skywalker, that's not Rosario Dawson's version. I really don't believe that. If you guys want to chime in, you're more than welcome. What do you think, Jasmine?
I don't know. I mean, you're right. It is definitely two different versions, but I don't know. Just the way that Star Wars goes, sometimes, you think one thing is going to happen and then something else just completely happens instead. And it just, I don't know. Some of these things, especially the aspect of, like the Ahsoka show and how certain stories go, it's just kind of hard for me to guess. I guess when more clues come out, like, teasers or trailers, and I think I'll have a better opinion.
Right.
Well, here's the thing, right? Like, he sees his parents and he has an opportunity to save his parents, right? When but he didn't do it because he knew that if you do something like that, everything that happened in time is going to change. Like, everything in life happens the way it's happening right now, right? We can't go back in time, change something. But if we change something, then our future I wouldn't be who I am today. I might be somewhere else. I might be with someone else. I might be, who knows? I might be working another job. I don't know where I'd be. So if I went back and changed something there, well, then that's going to take it out of line. So instead of going this way, it's going to go this way now.
Right.
So my future would change. Like, I don't know if you ever saw Back to the Future.
Right.
He said, look, if they see you, it could change everything. You might not even be born.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had to be really careful with all that.
Right. So when you think about that movie and you pertain it to what she was telling him, she couldn't prevent him from saving her, right? He did it. There was nothing. She probably would have told him, let it happen.
Right.
But he saved her. Maybe it was supposed to happen that way, right? Maybe that's what was supposed to happen.
But then the timeline
is like, if you save Kiernan, here's what happens. He saves Kiernan, but now the fire kills them all. So now he saved his master, but they're all dead. So now Kiernan never had a son, right? And the whole crew is dead. Now what's that mean for the rebels?
Yeah.
So maybe what they were trying to do, it never happens. And now the rebels who needed these things done, well, now we're in trouble.
So do you think
we just lost that whole rebel cell? Remember, everybody that we're learning about, the Bad Batch is they're all rebel cells. Same thing with Andor, right? These guys don't know that they're just a cell. They think that, oh my God, we're all that's it. Without us, it's never going to happen. What they don't realize is there's others, like in Solo, right? That group, I forgot their name, but that group that he gives the Coraxium to, that's one rebel cell. Right? The rebels themselves were one rebel cell. And each of them, like they said in Andor, the Imperial, the officer, she says, listen, if I was the rebels, I'd be doing it the same way. Hit here, spread it out. What they were trying to tell you, the secret message in that is there's many different cells. What's that mean? They probably could put out another show with a whole bunch of characters and show what they're going through and how
like a multiverse.
Yeah. Right. But that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
And it's funny because like a lot of Star Wars fans don't want to accept it, but that's what I feel like happened with the World Between Worlds, and I feel like that's why they're gonna touch on that in the Ahsoka series. Go ahead, Jasmine. I know
so do you think so Ashley Eckstein's Ahsoka was supposed to die there at the Sith Temple. So do you think that when Ezra saved her, pulled her out, he pulled out a different version, and that's why now we have the Rosario Dawson version? Do you think that maybe he's mixing up the two universes? Because if it's a world between worlds, there's possible other, universes, kind of like a multiverse. So he could have probably pulled a different Ahsoka, and that's why things are going to change. That's why she's going to have, slightly different ideals, or she's going to do things kind of differently, and that's why we have the two different versions of Ahsoka, maybe.
I agree. I think that's a possibility. I think so. I mean, I believe it. I think that there's different things. I mean, when he went into that, first off, when he had gotten access to it, you heard all the voices, you saw all the different timelines, everything that was going on. Realistically, I feel like if Ahsoka never got taken out of that, if you think about this, right? If Ahsoka gets left behind, kind of the way, like he left Kanan,
Right.
everything kind of happened. And Ezra would have just been stuck with Thrawn, if you think about it. Nobody goes looking for Ezra. Because Sabine can't take on Thrawn by herself.
She wouldn't even know where to start. She doesn't have the Force to help her.
Right, and that's Ahsoka. Like, again, I know you read the book. I don't know if you read it, Rob, but I know you read the book, Jasmine. In the one book, she's been all over the place. She's been to other systems, so she would know where Ezra is. She knows where he is, and that's why she's going to find him in the unknown regions. And I just don't, and I just believe that, again, going back to what Rob said, there's a reason why it happened. Like, again, I think the daughter knew, meaning, and that's one of the things with the Andor series, because they said all this is supposed to connect. And I feel like those tablets that we saw in the Andor series in episode 4 are going to play a big part in everything. And that's why I feel like Ahsoka is kind of like the circle of everything. It's not just the Mandalorian. I feel like Ahsoka is the one that's going to tie everything together.
Yeah.
And I really believe we're going to get an explanation, because on the World Between Worlds, and the explanation on Ahsoka herself, and the version that we got of her, I really believe that it's a different Ahsoka. It's not the Ahsoka that we know from Rebels, or not, I'm sorry, not Rebels, but like from the Clone Wars. It's not that version.
I think what they should.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. You're going to get the version of Ahsoka like we saw in The Mandalorian. I mean, that's the one you should be expecting.
Right. I think Jasmine's just saying overall, when it first, when the World Between Worlds happened, did that already give us, was that the Rosario Dawson that we just got introduced?
Yeah, so did he pull out a different version of Ahsoka?
I mean, I don't think, how do I put it?
That's hard. I mean, because like because again, I saw it so long ago. I'm trying to remember. Like when we last see Ahsoka, she just walks into like that cave or area, and then that's the end, right? And just fades to black, right? And then we don't know what happens to her until we see her again, right? Like she didn't seem personality-wise, she was different. But she seemed like she grew. Like the Rosario Dawson one is her more mature, more experienced, her on her own. She knows Luke. So, and I believe Luke probably taught her some things because she runs into him.
That's what I said before. That's what I was meaning before, Jasmine. I think that she learned more from Luke than anything, because Luke is a lot more. Remember, that's Anakin's, that's his son. Like, if there was, I mean, I understand Ahsoka. I mean, look, listen, if there's anybody who's going to know anything, it's Ahsoka, because obviously she was with Anakin, we know that. But I mean, she couldn't even defeat Vader.
Now, does she, here's the one thing I'd love to know. Did she tell Luke about his father? Did she tell him about Anakin? What he did?
I think they had that discussion already.
I'm sure.
I wonder if they did. I'd love to see that. I'd love for her to sit down and they show us a scene between her and Luke, and he's like, did you see my father? Yeah.
I mean, we might get that in the Ahsoka show.
I honestly think that we might even see Luke in the Ahsoka series. I think that will tie everything together, to be quite honest.
We are. Yeah, I think we are. I've heard a lot of rumor that's
I personally
heard a lot.
It would make sense if he's in the show, and then that could be when they kind of go their separate ways, and he's gonna go his way so that he could start training the next generation, and Ahsoka's gonna tie up, whatever loose ends she has from, the Empire days. And from the days of her being a Jedi. So they could probably work together, have those discussions, do whatever they got to do. Then the Ahsoka show could be showing that split, because at some point Luke goes off to teach. Ahsoka's probably not really going to be around for that. So that could be the way to, show them splitting.
What I think is pretty cool is what's the planet that he trains them on? Does anybody? It's not Octu, is it? No, it's not
Oh.
Octu.
No, it's not
No.
Octu. That's where he ran away to.
Right, that's where you run away to. But I think it's pretty cool that I just thought about this now. I think it's pretty cool that we get to see Ahsoka on the planet where Ben, got his went to train, because that's where the that's where the temple was, the academy that he was building was at, and we saw it. And I have a feeling that maybe right before everything, I feel like the Ahsoka series, if it was up to me, I would start it with Ahsoka and Luke, as an opening, and it just be kind of I'll see you again, old friend, or something like that. Just something in terms. I think that would be really it would just be homage or something like that. It'd be really nice. It would be very warm, to see something ending like that. Maybe that's the last time they actually do see each other is there, because I honestly don't think I would want to see them see each other again after that.
So that's why I feel like that the Ahsoka show would be the perfect way, so she can help give him they can help each other get closure. I feel like they can help each other get closure, and then that's when they're like, okay, it's time for us to move on and apart, because they're both still Jedi. They can't have those attachments, so they'll be like, we'll always be around, but it's time we go our separate ways, do our separate thing.
Right.
I feel like that'd be the perfect opportunity in the Ahsoka show.
I wouldn't even be surprised if we I wouldn't be surprised if we see Yoda. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, Force Ghost Yoda.
In the Ahsoka series? Oh yeah, like Luke is saying bye to Ahsoka, and then you see Force Ghost Yoda there, just kind of.
What happens if you saw Force Ghost Anakin?
We are
That'd be fun.
Well,
that'd be fun.
I just don't know. That would be dope if it's Yoda and Anakin and Obi-Wan. That would be dope. That would be because they said it. They said that there's a scene in the series that's kind of they called it a religious experience. So if I'm thinking religious, I'm thinking, okay, from beyond the grave, Force Ghost, and it's probably gonna be we know it's Hayden Christensen for sure. We know it's Anakin, without a doubt. But I would love for it to be you have him, and now we get, instead of Alec Guinness's Force Ghost, you get now Ewan McGregor's Force Ghost, because that hasn't been implemented yet. We haven't seen that version yet. We still get
we haven't. No,
so that would be a great way to introduce it, because also she has a relationship, meaning Ahsoka, with also Kenobi from the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
So that's another way because that was a missed opportunity in the Clone Wars. I was thinking, at some point she was gonna get referenced at least, and that's why I say it. I think the Kenobi series falls on the timeline of the prequel trilogy timeline, not the Clone Wars, because I feel like the Clone Wars is a different timeline. I feel like that's different. You have George Lucas's and then you have Dave Filoni's, two different ones, because what you're gonna tell me that not once they could have referenced Ahsoka in the Kenobi series, one time.
Well, in the Kenobi series, right? Remember, Ben his goal is to protect Luke and to try and hide that he's there. He doesn't want them to sense he's there. He just wants to pretend he's a regular person, because his whole goal is to hide and protect. That's what Yoda's doing. Yoda's also hiding because they can't. They failed. They had their opportunity. They failed, and now it's to protect the young, so they can train him to overtake. Because they know who Luke is. Right. We didn't know at that time when it first came out, but they know who he is. So that was his only goal. That was it. So I don't think that he's going to bring up Ahsoka in that series, because she's not really why would he? If he's going to bring her up, he's got to bring up everybody. Why not bring up Mace Windu? Why not bring up Yoda himself? His love was Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon was his attachment. That's who Obi-Wan was very attached to. That was like his father to him. So he was so desperate to see Qui-Gon again. And when he finally got to see him again, he was like, wow, about time. Where you been? So I don't think so. Ahsoka is more attached to Anakin and Ezra and the rebels than she is attached. And now Luke, obviously, we could see there's an attachment there with Luke, then more than Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's attachment is Dooku and Qui-Gon and Mace Windu, and Anakin. No, that
And Yoda.
Yoda, yeah. Those were his attachments. So I don't think Ahsoka fits in that series. Doesn't fit there. I mean,
She does. I respectively disagree, but
okay.
I think well, because remember, if you watch the Clone Wars movie, I mean, I remember when when she's first introduced and Kenobi was there. It was the two. It was Kenobi and Anakin.
Yeah, but he
You
wasn't
know,
a major player with Ahsoka. Everything became Anakin.
yeah, but
Sky Guy. It became all
but I
him.
mean, but the whole series was the three of them. If you think about it, other than everybody else, it was the three of them.
I think Kenobi was when I saw Kenobi, I picture him with Anakin. Or Qui-Gon. I don't picture even Yoda, but I don't picture him with Ahsoka. When I see Ahsoka,
disagree means go fuck yourself. That's not what
No, we're nice here. We're nice here. We can share, disagree, but we do it nicely.
Yeah, but
we're nice
listen,
here.
no one. If everybody agreed, then what kind of world would we have?
It'd
If
be
everybody,
it would be fun.
We'd be very robotic. Like everybody be, I agree.
Yeah. And it makes it fun too when we actually disagree with each other. It makes it fun because then we get to hear like these different theories.
Yeah, there's theories, opinions, different things, different points of views that we get to see from each other.
And that's what makes everybody who they are.
But we know Grey Jedi. He's always joking around. We love you, Grey Jedi. We love you. But no, I mean, I really think that Ahsoka could have been mentioned. I think that because they hyped up the show so much to be, tied to the Clone Wars. I was expecting the attire in the flashback because in the flashback it was all it was all prequel. It was Revenge of the Sith. The clothing was Revenge of the Sith. I'm sorry, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith. So it wasn't even like anything towards the Clone Wars, and that's why I really believe that. Again, they're two different timelines. I really do believe that.
Okay,
I really do. So. But with that, I guess, well, the good thing is that we know that Ahsoka has finished wrapping up and we will be getting it hopefully sometime soon. Next week, we have Tales of the Jedi. We'll wrap it up with this.
I know. I'm so excited.
So good.
It's an arc of just, they finally, we kind of knew already, but there's two arcs, Ahsoka and Dooku.
Dooku. Yeah.
And they're dropping all 6 episodes in one go.
What?
It said that they were dropping all 6 episodes in one go. I just saw a post.
I'm upset about episode 5 though. Like 10 fucking minutes. Like, come on. Like, what the fuck, man? 10 minutes. Like,
well, basically, you could watch this in an hour and half. An hour and a half, you could watch the whole thing. Maybe an hour and 15 minutes. I mean,
I might actually take off of work. I might just to watch it. Like, I'll actually leave work early, or I'll get to work. Yeah, I'll leave work early. I'll be like, I need to watch this, and then I'll live stream it.
Just tell them you have Star Wars fever.
Yeah, that's. Hey, we can do a watch party.
I definitely have to watch it. Definitely.
For sure.
Listen, Dooku is my favorite character. I know I'm probably the oddball in all the Star Wars fandom, but I've ever picked Luke and Han and whatever. But for me,
he's an interesting character. Like, he has a lot to his story that I feel like people forget. I feel like there's people that are like, oh, Dooku, he's just, Sidious's apprentice or whatever. But there's so much more to his story, and he really is an interesting character when you get a chance to look in depth at him.
I agree. I love his character. I mean, I love his character because it was, what it was when you saw him. Dooku, he even said, Grey Jedi is like, Dooku is fucking awesome, bro. He really is. You know what it is with Dooku? It's just he brought that different. I was watching because his name, what is it? Christopher Lee, right? Christopher Lee?
Hell yeah.
I saw like one of the things, and George brought him on. The goal was to bring like an elegant, because we've never seen
very classy.
Yeah, we've never seen.
Doesn't he come from like royalty? So it makes sense that Dooku would be like a lot classier.
Yes,
he'd be more well mannered or well spoken at least.
Right. So I mean, like, and that's the thing with Dooku is like Dooku always knew, and that's why like he left the Jedi Order. He was kind of like a Quinlan Vos kind of. It's just he fully embraced the Sith tradition.
He was like a more well-spoken Quinlan Vos, I feel like.
Yes.
Like a classier one.
Here's a question, maybe one of you know it. What about Cypher Diaz? That guy was always so interested in.
I think that he is such a character that I'm so curious to learn about because he knew about the Clone Wars. He knew about everything that was coming. and he was preparing. He was preparing. I think I still till this day find that so funny that he was preparing for this war, and Palpatine had him killed secretively.
Yeah.
I really would love to learn more about that and how Palpatine even knew about, that. I mean, I feel like Camino has so much history, not just with the clone army, but like just overall with, with these, like with Sifo Dyas, possibly consistently making deals with the Kaminoans, like, and we saw that right in the Bad Batch. Was after, like they had another planet. Because remember in one of the episodes with Fennec and Cad Bane, I think it was Cad Bane in it too, when they go to that planet and they see like the other like variations of like the Kaminoans. Remember that they were in those tanks because they had tried to go to this, they were in this planet before they went to Camino. And I just find like that era, I always find like what happened before the Phantom Menace, like, or during it, like so interesting. Because if you think about it, Cypher died after the Phantom Menace because we see him in it. I think in the celebration or when Qui-Gon dies. So I would really love to explore Sifo Dyas a lot. I really would.
What do you think? Dooku did Dooku know about what Sifo Dyas knew? That's the part I don't remember. I
mean, I think he did. I mean, because you saw it in
Yeah,
because remember in the episode that he was the one who got him killed. He was the one who went. It was him and
But did he know what he was doing, or was he just doing what Sidious told him to do?
That's what I think. I mean, I think it comes from Sidious, because why do you think Palpatine covered it up?
No, but but like I'm saying, he is the one that killed him. But does he know why he killed him? Does he know what Sifo Dyas actually did, or is he just following orders?
No, I think Count Dooku knew. Count Dooku knew, because that's why when he spoke to like Obi-Wan, especially even in the in Attack of the Clones, like when they're about to fight, he tells him basically like there's this is bigger than you think. Basically, there's a lot more to this. That's why he wanted him to join him. Because he had a lot of that knowledge of what was going on behind the scenes, and that's why he left the Jedi Order. And that's why he was other than Darth Maul, that was Sidious's or Palpatine's other apprentice.
Yeah, well, Dooku wasn't looking to take over the galaxy,
right?
He was trying to. It's like he didn't agree with the government. He didn't agree.
Right. So he was trying to make his own. He was trying to do it his political way. That's what he was trying to do.
And to me, and I've made this argument with other people, and people's like, "Oh, the Jedi is so good," and blah blah blah. Yeah. When you think about it, like, okay, wait a minute, they were supposed to be peacekeepers, and here they are fighting a war, and they're going against, Dooku, and I was like that. Like after I thought about all this, like, okay, so why were you going after the guy? Because he didn't agree with the way you wanted things to go, so now we have to go against him. Yeah, I was like. That made me wonder a lot. Like, wait a minute here. Like, so you're going against a guy who's of royalty and respected by many, many planets and many other creatures, and he doesn't agree with me. Therefore, I got to kill you. I really thought about that, and that's something of Star Wars that puzzles me. I mean, maybe I'm reading too deep into it or thinking a different way. I don't know.
I think that's what the arc is going to explain. I think we're going to, because we see that one little scene with him and Mace Windu where he's like, Mace Windu's like, stand down, Dooku. He tells him stand down. So I want to see how this goes, because I feel like we're going to see that turn of Qui-Gon. I think we're going to see that, to be honest. So,
I have one more question, and maybe it's a little off base. So, and this is the last one I'm going to ask. You guys have seen the trailer for Cal Kestis and the new video game, the next Jedi Fallen Order, right?
That's a whole nother thing, so I forgot about. Yeah.
My question is, who that guy is driving me crazy. I'm trying to place, who is that enemy? Is he like a Grand Inquisitor?
They said that it's an ancient Sith. That's what they're saying. It's an ancient Sith that got resurrected. That's what they're saying so far.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So. That's interesting. We don't know who the ancient Sith is, but I'm hoping Kenobi gets in on it, because it takes place during the same time as the Kenobi series. So,
and who is the Tales of the Jedi villain?
Oh, the one. Oh, that's the what is it? The third brother. what was it, Jasmine? Remember?
For Ahsoka,
Yeah, remember it's the one from the book.
the sixth,
the sixth brother, the
brother.
sixth brother. It's the
Sixth
sixth
brother.
brother. Yeah, but they
Okay.
changed the way he looks a little bit up. So
Okay.
Yeah.
I figured you guys had all the answers, so I said, let me ask you because I've been so out of it. So
I'm
No.
good at timelines. I'm not really good at details.
that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, he's details on timeline.
There
Yeah,
you go. And it
yeah.
works. It's just like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It comes together, you know?
Yes. And on that note, we can end it here because we've been on for a long time, and I have some stuff to do. I'm so tired. So I want to thank everybody for hopping on. Please go check out. Please follow Jasmine on Instagram and go check out everything Star Wars and Rob's Rules on YouTube. By the way, Rob's Rules is growing. I think we got like what 11,000 subscribers.
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
It's
congrats.
true. So you just going up in the and please, if you can, you message YouTube so we can get this man monetized again because he got monetized and that's not very nice. So let's get him monetized back.
Appreciate that, man.
Yes, no, and go also follow his other YouTube channel, Everything Star Wars. You just hit 100 not too long ago, right?
Yeah, I just hit 100. You know, like I said, I took a little break from everything because I was away for my birthday, just celebrating. But yeah, that's it. Yeah, I got 11,000 on Rob's Rules, and I just hit 100 on Everything Star Wars. So we got to make some videos, and I'll put them back out there real soon.
It's 2 a.m. and Sith is tired.
Oh man.
Wow.
Well, listen, I'm tired. Yes, I have so much to do, but I appreciate you, Great Jedi. Thank you so much for hopping on. You are always a real one. I want to give you a shout out, Great Jedi. Again, we all really appreciate you and always coming here. And we also want to thank Binksy, you and Gadget Trish. If you're still here, you guys have been the real ones. You guys are always here, always blowing it up in the comment section. I know this stream was last minute because of Jasmine, but you know,
you agreed to it.
Listen, we did this stream 30 minutes right before, and we were just able to do it. So
yeah, we were messaging because he's like, all right, everyone bailed, and I was like, well, if you want, we can still do it, just us two. You said yes, so I said okay. Let me go run to the shower. Let me get everything ready.
All right. Ramble on. All right. Let's
bye, guys.
All right, later, guys. Have a wonderful night and a wonderful week as well. Later.